Adam.
How you doing, my brother?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great.
Good. The best we
How's
can do,
everything
right?
going with the show? Do you still got time for that?
Yeah, you're live. We're not live. We're recording.
Okay, so we're gonna do through audio,
Audio. Yep.
huh? Okay, great.
Unless you want to take
Yeah,
a
let's
flight.
do it.
You want to take a flight over here to California from Chicago.
I wish, man. I was looking forward to visiting you.
Almost, right? We almost made it.
Yeah,
It's probably
yeah.
for the
I
best.
was, yeah, I was kind of at the towards the end. It was getting crazy, but I was still planning to come, and then once everything just started shutting down, I was like,
It's
yeah,
crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
we gotta reschedule.
Man, how you guys doing up there? The school and
Uh,
members
you
and
know, it's kind of
students.
like a little bit of a roller coaster in the sense of like every day is a little bit different,
Mm,
and you kind of you know you go through different thoughts throughout the day. But thank God everything is good.
yeah.
Everything's. I mean, from the business side of things, obviously there's a unique challenge for us on
Yeah.
that in that sense. So I think it's our responsibility to look out for everyone on our team and make sure everything's okay. So my
Yeah.
focus was on that. But
Yeah.
personally,
The
I
coaches,
I
your
feel like
coaches and staff, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
But
students.
personally, I'm at ease.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the way God designed it for us. So we
Yeah.
just got to be patient, and it is what it is.
It too shall pass, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Man.
yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
How's everything going down there?
Yeah, day by day, right? Taking it day by day. Trying to we do our online classes. After we get off the call, I'm gonna do an online class and doing TACFIT, and really I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity the last 4 or 5 years to really get into it because honestly, it's kind of almost like the best thing that I could do or you can do, right, in your living room by yourself because it's
Hmm.
hard to do. You can do drills, right, but if you don't have a partner, it's really hard and it's a little bit different. You can't really train, right, jiu-jitsu,
Hmm.
like the same way at home, So TACFIT's kind of a nice another added thing to that we can offer. Of course, we have some other fitness things, so that helps, But just doing our best, right? Just doing our best. Just trying to stay connected with everybody on Facebook
Hmm.
Live and then Zoom, So we have the Zoom going on. I'm gonna create the schedule, our virtual academy for next week. So to make it
Hmm.
nice and easy for people to find, but just doing our best, doing our best and taking it day by day. I think the craziest thing is we just don't know how long this thing's gonna last, right?
Yeah,
How long this thing's gonna
yeah,
last. So that's what makes it difficult. But it's it's this is the way it's gonna be. I mean, this is the way it's gonna be. There's nothing we can do, right? Do our best, and I'm doing my best by, trying to connect with everybody and stay connected and be responsible, right? Do what they tell us to do and just take it day by day. Take it day
yeah,
by
yeah.
day.
That's one of my favorite quotes. Is just it is what it is, right? It is
Yeah,
what it is.
that's it.
And yeah, I think if we got a healthy mentality, we'll make the best out of it. I think there's no better opportunity to take care of those things we've been putting off for such a long
Mm,
time. Like you mentioned
mm,
with the, you're working on the online thing. Yeah, we put so much more energy in
mm,
our RJJ online
mm-hmm,
than we've ever done. In the
mm-hmm.
last week, we've probably put more energy in there than we did in the last year. So,
Right,
and I'm sure even our students, they gotta, some of them are at home with their family. They've been putting so much time on the mat. It's time to
right.
kind of make up for lost time with the family.
Yeah, yeah,
So everything is going to be find its balance soon.
yeah.
You know,
That's what it seems like it's doing.
yeah.
I mean, you see the cars out and about every day. It gets slower and slower. Um,
Hmm.
but it's nature, right? It's everything's balances things out. So it is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
There's so much crossover I noticed with those lessons that we preach, and then what we're going through right now.
mm,
Um, uh, Distance management, right?
mm, yeah,
In our jujitsu, distance management,
mm,
self-defense, social distancing,
yeah.
but also like one of my favorite podcasts is the Wrestling Mindset podcast.
The Wrestling Mindset
And
podcast.
yeah, it'll be great if we could tag them in this conversation because
Mm,
they really do a good job and they preach this mentality. They call it predator versus pray. And now, like when we go to compete, you know how sometimes before a fight you got certain thoughts that creep in your mind, you know, about how we're going to perform, how, you know, what if this, what if that. So they condition people to think, are you thinking as a predator or are you thinking as a prey right now? And the difference is the predators, they got the eyes on the front because they like to hunt. They only think about stuff that they can control. That's all they focus on.
Right.
The prey, they have the eyes on the side because they need to hide. And they think about stuff that is not within their control. Like, what if I look bad? What if what if the people don't think I'm good? What if all this what if stuff? So I think combining those two, like that quote, it is what it is. And now what can I control? I can control my attitude. I have some control over my attitude. I don't have no control over, you know, what's happening around the other side of the world or this and that.
Right.
You know, pray for everybody who's suffering.
Right.
But I have to make sure I don't, you know, have some self-induced suffering because I'm obsessed over things I can't control. You know,
fear.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So all this stuff, I think, is the crossover has been very helpful for me. The lessons we learn on the mat, they're coming to play in this uncertainty people feel right now. But one thing I'm certain about is that God is in control, and everything's going to be okay. I'm certain about that. So that helps me get through all of this stuff.
That's it. One of the first, the first week, I think the first week we just kind of adjust, is this thing really happening? And then, because I close on a Saturday, and then that week after, you know, you're kind of like just adjusting and, okay, what do I do? You have to send emails out. We have to connect, you know, staff and everything else. And then on that Saturday after, the week after, I kind of was like, okay, it's time to rest and to kind of take it easy. And, you know, and I kind of did that for about, I think all the way till like Wednesday, Thursday, the next week. And then I was getting out of my routine, you know, like I like to get up early. I like to do work. I like to, you know, do certain things. And I was losing that. I'm like, man, what are you doing? You know, like eating like I stopped kind of eating bread. I started eating some bread. Oh, just a little bit here, there, you know, and kind of getting out of my routine. And I'm like, man, wake up, get back to it, get back to the grind. And so on the Friday, it was this last Friday. What is it? It's Wednesday now. So last Friday, I was like, man, get back on it. And so I made up a couple of the days on the Saturday and the Sunday from lost time from that week, you know, and then I just been at it, you know, ever since. And I'm gonna still do my best and, you know, still do the work and do things that I can't control, right? You know, like online training and classes, live classes for our students, and just do what I can do, right, to control. Yeah,
I'm going through the same thing. I ate all of my survival snacks
in a day, in a couple hours.
You know,
because like, what are you supposed to do, right? Yeah, you're supposed to stay at home. You're okay, watch TV. I mean, you know, there's only so many things you can do, right? And then you start. I mean, especially if you're competing and fighting, like that's kind of what you do usually, right? You relax and you start eating, right? And then it's a stressful time, right? So of course you're gonna get pulled in that direction as well. But
on that note, what you were saying about how everything changed, right? We're kind of in the same situation in the sense that we both have a team we're responsible for. We're running a small business,
right?
And the way I was explaining to our staff is like, you know, we've been doing this for like 20 years, and over 20 years we found systems that work, and they became like a routine for us, and everything was great. And then overnight, all those systems, they no longer had value.
Evaporated.
Because now we had to create new systems. So the first week was just like I was working overtime to create new systems to deal with the new reality, and trying to keep our staff safe and also keep them earning money. So that's been, I kind of, like, me personally, I don't have a care in the world personally. I just feel like, you know, I'm blessed no matter what. And but I also feel that we have a responsibility to just do our job in the sense of making sure our staff is taken care of. So that's been my focus the first 10 days or so. And now I'm hoping to start to just, you know, catch up on my old, all the things I've neglected too. God willing, hopefully this will all start to become a little bit more stable, and then I can focus on catching up on things I've been neglecting too.
Yeah. And you talked about you guys have been there for 20 years. You guys were one of the first guys to teach jiu-jitsu, right, in Chicago? Your
Yeah, it was
family?
Carlson's, Dino Castillas was here, and then our school. Yeah, it was one of the first few here. Yeah, it goes
And
like it was yesterday. It was
right?
and I'm sure this is gonna pass just like that too.
Yeah,
Looking back, that was 20 years ago. Seems like yesterday.
right.
Who knows? God willing, we'll be healthy in 20 years. Look at this and laugh at it.
Man, you know,
Hopefully
when
we'll.
you I've cut some like extreme weights, you know, for fighting MMA and things like that, and you know, you have to really suffer, right? And it just seems like it's never gonna end when you're uncomfortable. But the
Yeah,
second that it's done, it's like all that suffering almost didn't happen, you know. So I feel like
yeah,
that's gonna be the same thing with this, you know. The second, you know, everything's done, you know, we're released out again, you know. I think we're just gonna
hmm
get right back to it. You know, of course we have to deal with the financial hit, right, of the world. You know,
yeah,
we have to deal with
yeah,
that, but you
yeah,
know, we'll deal with it when it comes, right? Um,
yeah, yeah,
Out of our
yeah. That's
control right now.
yeah. And some people will drive themselves crazy, and rightfully so. I mean, everyone's situation is different, and especially now for in our situation where we have responsibility.
Mm,
We're trying to do our best with our staff.
mm,
Um, but one for me personally, there's certain quotes that I've picked up throughout life that I lean on. Like the one that I mentioned earlier was "It is what it is," right? Like the whole wrestling mindset
yeah.
mentality. I lean on that a lot. And there's another uh, word that a good friend of mine was explaining to me the meaning of, which is like an Arabic word
Mm,
meaning they call it fitna, which is like a trial.
mm,
And again, I'm not a English teacher, Arabic
mm,
teacher, linguistic guy. I'm just passing what I've heard, but there's a meaning to it in the sense of like purification through fire. Like
mm,
when you want to get to the gold, you have to put it under fire to strip all the impurities to get to the gold. And I think times like this, they also reveal things to us. Who's checking up on you, who you checking up on, who's
yeah.
giving you, is making life hard on you at this moment, who's making life easier. So I
Mm,
think we can see a lot of the quality
mm,
people in our life shining in this
mm.
moment.
It's really
So
interesting.
there's
Yeah,
there's so much
that's it.
value in that. And then you also see people who they just fall off the face of the earth. They
Mm,
just, and I mean, I don't want to think too deep on them, but it kind of like through whenever we humans deal with adversity and these trials, it definitely can shake us up. But also, if we look at it a certain way, there's some blessing in it. You can see kind of what really matters, who really matters to
mm,
you. And I'm going through that a little bit too now. I'm seeing some people in my life that I haven't really appreciated as much as I should. They're shining in these moments,
mm.
and then you see some people who you just it is what it is. Uh, they're going in a different direction. But what can we do? We can. It's not going to be any value in us kind of being pessimistic and
Yeah,
looking at things in a negative way. I think it's all beautiful. It'll all work itself out.
yeah, yeah. It's great. It's crazy, right? Everything changed. Like if I remember, I was watching my daughter in jiu-jitsu class in the afternoon, and I got a notification that the Pans was canceled, the NBA was canceled.
Yeah.
I was like, what? It just got real. It just got real, right?
Yeah.
And and it was like almost instantly, right? That night I went home and I'm like, okay, what does that mean, right? What does that mean? And then the next morning I came in and people like, it was almost like half the people were there, right, in class. And I was like, oh, and then as I hear of other gyms kind of starting to shut down and I'm like, well, what do I do? What's the right thing to do, right? And there's like, you don't know what to believe, what the news. So I started watching. I spent I think about 4 hours that day of studying, like just studying like legit news sources. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man, like it's crazy. But I had a podcast scheduled with he was a consultant. He's a ER doctor, and he
Mm-hmm.
consulted for that Netflix show Pandemic. And so I had a
Mm-hmm.
podcast with him scheduled just to, talk to him and hopefully get some hope that we could still do jujitsu and that's gonna be okay, somehow. And
He's like, no way. Huh?
there's just no way, He wanted to kind of say, right, because he knows, he actually was like a fight doctor too, like a ringside doctor for many years, and there's just no way. And then after that podcast, I was like, well, let me just sleep on it. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, there's no way. I gotta close the doors. You know, I gotta do the right thing for the community and protect our students. You know, protect our community.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the same thing. That's the hardest decision for us to make.
Yeah.
Right? One of the hardest we can make. You know, having to. You know, because we like you said a little bit earlier, we don't really know what to believe these days.
Right.
It's hard. The news is not the most credible place to turn to, and everyone on social media has their opinions.
Right.
So I was going through the same thing here. One of our students I was speaking to, actually a few of them who I trust their opinions. I was trying to do my research, and what really got us to kind of close was the argument of, you know, there's a chance of the overcrowding of the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, that's something we can, you know, I can't control the spread of a virus that's
right.
a global pandemic,
right.
but if I can do my part to just slow down people from visiting the hospital,
right.
sure.
That's what it came down to, right? Just us doing our part of slowing down or flattening the curve, right? Of the spread of the virus. I mean, it seems like if you're pretty healthy and, you know, most of the guys probably in our gym, like we're probably going to be okay. It seems like, you know, you never know, right? People have conditions, but it seems like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the main thing. And obviously we don't want to, you know, my parents are in that category of,
right.
you know, vulnerable people. We obviously don't want to, you know, see anyone hurt, but to also to just have some, I guess I'm thinking out loud, but on part of my mind is also that, you know, one of the challenges that we have right now as a community is people's egos and people's politics are starting to seep into this.
Yeah.
And to the point where they're arguing about it. And now, you know, that's where I'm kind of trying to see how this is all going to play out, because it seems like some people are so invested in things turning out a certain way, you know, and you know, I'm not an expert in this. I'm taking it day by day.
Yeah.
We made a tremendous sacrifice in closing our businesses.
Yeah.
We're trying to contribute, but I think one of the hurdles we're going to have in front of us is got so many people just, you know, they're so obsessed and invested in certain positions. It's going to be interesting to see how this evolves, you know, but
yeah,
hopefully
because the whole financial side, right? You kind of like, you're not sure, you know, there's a like a big old financial play, right, to kind of change things up in the world, right? Is there something like that involved, right? Like for us to, whatever it is, to make the changes that we need for control. Who knows, right? Who knows what this whole thing is? But I mean, our generation, our parents never had to kind of deal with anything like this, right? So pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to lean on hope because, you know, not to be all Mr. Patriot, but man, here in America, things we have a history of, you know, getting together during times of crisis like this and making things work out. And with all the scientists that are focused on the same problem at the same time, I'm hopeful that things can get resolved. You know, I think that, you know, that just makes me feel day to day happier, healthier, just remain hopeful. I'm not going to be invested in a certain position of this being, you know, death is a part of life.
I believe
what some people have to remember too. You know?
I believe too.
We obviously don't want to see anyone that we love die, but you know, this is a part of life, and you know, hopefully we live life to the fullest. But now it seems that the fact that people die is becoming like that's new to people. Death is part of life. Yeah. You know, so may God give everybody who's struggling, going through this, ease and patience, all their loved ones, ease and patience. But some people I see act like death is a surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's part of life, right? Part of living is dying. We're living because, you know, because of that cycle. Yeah. Man.
Hopefully we'll make the most out of it.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to tell you. But basically, we were just talking about, I just totally lost my train of thought. So many things on my mind.
Just about. Yeah, well, was talking to my buddies about you coming to Chicago to do this tax fit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How's
In
that
August.
looking? Is that looking that it's is that still?
We'll
we
see.
don't
You know,
know.
it's in August. You know, so we could probably still pull it off. But yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure. I have to just take it day by day. We had a thing in Barcelona scheduled, so we're just taking that day by day. We just have to postpone it, right? We were supposed to go to Australia in July, so I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to go to actually Taiwan for a workshop in May, but I don't think that's going to happen. So just got to take it day by day, and we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. That's something that I remember when I worked out with you in LA.
Yeah.
We did. I did just a couple sessions, but I remember leaving those sessions feeling like I just was walking around stronger, and I felt I wasn't depleted. You know, sometimes you go to the gym and you start pumping weights, you start feeling tight in certain joints and stuff. I remember feeling just like a strong version of myself, and so I'm gonna try and see if I can do some of that stuff from home now. Get some of your videos. And,
Yeah. I mean, it's the right thing, right? It's the right like the moderate intensity, and working in that 60 to 80% of your heart rate max. That gets your immune system, that gets your nervous system, just everything in the right balance, the perfect balance to stay healthy. So got to keep moving.
Yeah,
man.
That's what it felt like. It felt like it was challenging, but I wasn't gonna like have to go and take a couple days off or go throw up or something like that.
Yeah.
After the workout.
Yeah, I look forward to getting you guys getting you guys doing it, and hopefully having some TACFIT classes there in the future at Redzovic.
Yeah, we look forward to it. I got a few of my guys here ready to do the course whenever it comes around.
Yeah, I was looking forward to having you out here, man. Was it last week? Yeah, last week, right? You were supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was holding off to the end, man. Yeah, I was holding off to the end. We were looking at the news, like showing all the chaos at the airports, and I told my wife, I'm still going. And then we started getting into little arguments here and there, and I was holding off to the end, and then it is what it is. It got to the point where I was like, nah, if I go over there, it doesn't look like I'll even be able to come back. It's starting to look like everything's getting crazy.
I remember now what I was going to ask you, like just the school being closed, right? I mean, I've been on the mat probably like every week of the last, 25 years, right? And just to not be able to train and, have that kind of world in front of me or around me is like a big change. And honestly, like this last weekend, I was kind of just pushing it, right? Or whenever I changed my mindset, but just kind of accepting it, I was just kind of in denial in a way, like the first week that we were closed. And then I started to get sad, I started to get really sad. I kind of miss everybody, and just miss the whole thing, right? And got kind of pissed and just kind of went through like stages of grief, And I just changed my mindset and just keep my routine and control what I can control, right? And and contribute however I can, and just wait it out. How are you dealing with it? How do you feel about where you at emotionally with all these things?
Yeah, exactly. What you just said, that's what I meant earlier when I was saying it's like kind of like a roller coaster.
Yeah, I see.
There was definitely times where I would think, okay, what about my income, right? Because that's being affected.
Right.
But then also I started thinking about my staff. I started thinking about just how the uncertainty about the information we're getting. I started talking to people in China that some of my Instagram friends. And then it was a big emotional roller coaster, and I definitely that feeling we get after the workout, I miss it. That after a good sparring session or class, but even more than that, just being on the mat with the community where you got like 20, 30, 40 people on the mat, and we can go and kind of check up on each other, crack a joke here and there. Yeah. That energy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made me a little bit sad. Is like, man, I wish I had that right now in your community. So hopefully we'll get back to that, really soon. And I actually let me share one idea. I was thinking about doing. I got my hands full. I'm not going to be able to do it. Maybe there's someone out there who will do it. If they do it, let me get a percentage. Okay. the idea. Everyone wants to train, right? All our students across the world, everyone wants to train. Most they can't train right now, and I think the social distancing is one strategy.
Mm.
But another strategy, I think, what they're doing in Holland and maybe some other places, they're trying to do herd immunity, get everybody sick at the same time.
Mm.
So obviously, I'm a jiu-jitsu teacher. I'm not a scientist, biologist, none of that stuff. It's just common man thinking out loud. So no one takes my advice about herd immunity versus social distancing. But it'll be pretty cool to watch a reality show here, right? We get a room full of jiu-jitsu people from around the country who are willing to get sick, put them in the same room for a month, and we watch, we record, and actually us viewers at home, we know who is sick. They don't. And now we have the real world of jiu-jitsu. We even bring some of our...
That's a future reality show, huh? Right there.
We'll bring our jiu-jitsu guys from Italy, from China, from Iran.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And have them take care of each other when they get sick, and all the arguments that come with that of 30 people in the same gym at the same time. But again, if someone's going to run with that, let me get give me a shout out.
I guess shout out at least, right? Man. How are your friends and family in Bosnia?
They lived through a war
right.
in the 90s, so they kind of got the whole self-isolation thing down to a science.
Mm.
So from everyone who I've spoken to over there, it's all good. They don't have many cases over there.
Mm.
In certain cities, they have a handful or so, but generally, they're doing really well from what I've been told. And Croatia, they got hit with a big earthquake in the city of Zagreb.
Oh.
So they're kind of, they're dealing with all of that too. So yeah, it's a little bit crazy, but they seem to be doing pretty good. They're right across the water from Italy, which I would imagine would impact them more. But from what I see right now, it's not really impacting them too much. So yeah, we had this trip planned to go to Bosnia. I've been doing that every year.
Right.
I did it for the first time last year. We're going to do it again in May, but we're going to cancel, because of this whole thing going on. And I don't think people are going to want to travel.
Yeah, it's going to change. It's going to change so many things, right? I mean, you have like the cruise ships. Like, I don't know how many people are going to be doing cruises now. I mean, even when we get back to normal, that's the last thing. That's the last place I think I would want to go now for a trip.
Yeah.
And I think the world feels the same. So it's going to change a lot of things, a lot of industries. It's going to change things up.
Yeah.
It's going to change a lot of businesses. It's going to change the world.
Yeah. It's not to get all political, but that is one of the things that's been on my mind is, sometimes people in power, they're going to take advantage of people's fears and the new opportunities that are ahead. So hopefully that they don't, do things just for their interest and we have to suffer because of it. But yeah, hopefully we'll find a balance that's going to work out for everyone's safety, for all of our liberties. And, hopefully things don't change too dramatically. We are, again, I'm just a jiu-jitsu guy, I'm not no scientist, but to give some context, we humans have lived through all of it. We lived through the plagues, we lived through all this stuff, and the human potential, the human body is amazing, and we can adapt. These viruses, they change, we change, and at the end of the day, we have to also be kind of aware of the fear that's out there too, with social media, there's industries out there that are benefiting off of the hysteria too. And I don't want to now diminish, the seriousness of, social distancing at the moment, the quarantine. I'm with it. We're one of the first schools to close. I respect it. I'm on it. But we should also kind of know that, we didn't have the social media like we had it, when we went through the pandemics of, in the past. And, you have some people on our social media that are going to be feeding you fear every day, regularly. So some of it is justified. We have to be careful, cautious. But at the same time, there are industries that are, like our mainstream news. Whenever this stuff is kind of, how it is at the moment, turn on the radio to those news channels and you see how much the commercials are coming out. Well, the types of commercials is back to back to back. This is good for certain industries. So
Right.
again, I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm just trying to give our people just a wider context of everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Eventually, everything will find its balance. It always does. It always has. So just be careful not to get too down.
Caught up in the
because
fear.
of the fear industry,
Yeah.
Everything's going to be.
I mean, you start watching the news, you start getting tweaked out yourself, right? When I start watching the news too much, because you have to kind of watch the news to kind of keep up to date. Seems like, right, with things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and so you start to watch it too much. You're like, man, and you get those headlines, like the sensationalism, like headlines, and you're like, and it's like, why would you even write that? Why would you even put that out there? It's to strike fear, right? To get somebody to click on it. But man,
they got it down to a science.
Oh, man.
Like
and it starts to affect you. It starts to affect me, right? When I start to read all those things, so I know better now not to click on those things, because it's gonna be, what it's gonna be about. So I just try to stay relevant to the stuff that I have to know, for our businesses and for life, But everything else, man, forget that. Stay positive. I believe in the human race. I believe in us. We'll be fine. We'll get through it. Hopefully we get back to normal sooner than later, right?
Yeah. All that fear is not going to make our immune system stronger. It makes it weaker. There's studies on that.
That's it.
We got to take that into consideration as well. We're taking everything into consideration. We respect, our community, everybody. We're going to work together, but we just got to kind of, give some context to some of the people sometimes who are just immersed in all that fear. Some people, and I think humans, we tend to kind of gravitate certain emotions. Some people like to watch horror movies all the time. They like fear, some are a bit like that, being scared. Some people like, joy. They gravitate towards the comedy genre, you know what I mean? And so these are all different things that can have an effect on our health and our state of mind. And at the moment, the fear is kind of like, that's what's on the table right now. And for definitely, there can be good reason too. Keep some people, with the social distancing, all that stuff. I get it, but we just got to be careful that we don't overdose on it,
Yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough. Like, man, in Brazil, they're trying to do the social distancing, but some of my friends, they send me videos in the favelas, like they're doing like the funk, parties in the favela, and it's packed, packed with people.
They're doing the herd immunity.
Oh, herd immunity. There you go. That you gotta put a camera there. I guess the cameras are already there, But we'll see. We'll see. We don't know, right? We don't know. Like, I don't know, man. I know Italy. I have friends in Italy and Spain, and you hear of the stories, but I haven't seen really seen it or really heard so much, from anybody that I personally know,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what to believe, But in the meantime, I'll just do my part to be responsible, to not contribute. If it is true, right? If everything is true, stay at home. So social distancing.
Yeah, we're doing our part. That community's asking for it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Definitely, we don't want to contribute to the chaos or people getting sick or whatever. But at the same time, life has a way of finding its balance back again, and I'm sure this is all going to play out in the way that it was meant to play out. And definitely now, we're seeing a lot of people who are impacted with this. And it's very sad, especially when it hits close to home.
Man,
I don't want, I see anybody impacted with that. But we also have to remember that death is part of life. I'm not trying to be Mr. Down right now, but if we focus on everybody who dies in a particular way, that particular way is going to become more in our mind. You know what I mean? But if you look, like in America, I think we got 7,500 people per day die on average, if I'm not mistaken. That's just in the States. So a buddy of mine just, reached out to me. His friend fell, hit his head the other day. Young boy, he died, teenager, like
Man.
15 years old. My friend Benito in Texas
Man.
was reaching out and just like asking people to pray for his, and they're just reminding me, like right now people are focusing on this this virus taking them out, but life can take you out,
Yeah.
and
Walking
you
across the
step on a
street,
Lego
right?
and you
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
So at the point, I'm not trying to like diminish, make this thing smaller. I'm just
Right.
trying to tell
Right.
people that take advantage of your life.
Yeah.
You can die.
We're alive,
in any
right? We're
way.
alive. Quarantine or no
Yeah.
quarantine, we're alive. You know, we
Yeah.
get to eat, we get to see the sun. You know,
Yeah.
we're alive, right? Be grateful. Enjoy every minute. Enjoy the moment. The see the silver lining, right? So you get to
Yeah.
spend more time with your kids. Do the things that you put off, right? Like you were saying at the beginning. And do all those things. Yeah, like that.
Live it like it's your last day. It's because you don't know if it is.
Yeah.
You know.
How about the? Have you seen that North Korea meme, where the corona cases in North Korea, and it's like 1 and then 0 the next day. 1, 0.
I saw that. Is the one where they shot him, huh?
Yeah, they shot this. Corona, boom, you're done.
Yeah, I made a post about this. Like, we're living in the golden era of memes right now.
Oh my God, right?
This is one way of looking at it. You haven't had this many great minds sitting at home making memes. So we're just being flooded with hilarious things. But again, there are people who are suffering, and I don't want to make light out of it. But hopefully everything will play the way it was meant to play out. And then again, the death is part of life, so we don't know when it's going to come. Kiss your wife, your kids. Don't have no animosity with people. I mean, this is just another reminder that we got to go at some point, and this is an ugly way to go out too, with people having to like the breath from their lungs. They're struggling for oxygen. We take this blessing for granted every single breath. You know what I mean? All of us are breathing right now, and we take it for granted. You know what I mean? So that's one way I look at it is, I'm grateful. Thank God I have lungs, and I hope that the people who are dealing with this issue, they find ease, that their family finds ease. To see someone struggle with this is going to be very difficult for anybody.
Yeah.
But let's remain hopeful. Let's connect as a community and hope for the best. It's not a time to be fighting each other over politics and ego and all that stuff. Let's hope and believe in the ability of the world to come together and find a solution to this common problem. And I'm sure it will. They will.
Yeah, for sure.
So I look forward to getting on the mats with you and all the students there. You coming here, and we don't have to bust out the Purell bottle before we get in class. Our body has.
Somebody posted a video of guys doing jiu-jitsu, safely, right? And they train, right? And then they put Purell on their hands right after they train. It's just there's no way, right? With jiu-jitsu, there's no way. There's no way. You're not contaminating the other person. There's just
I wouldn't
no
be
way.
surprised because of how much time we spent on the mat. We have built an immunity to certain things. I'm not saying that we're safe from everything, but our systems are a little bit, they've got combat experience.
Yeah.
So everything's gonna be okay. Everyone, if whoever's listening to it, everything's gonna work itself out. Just do your part.
That's it.
Contribute, even if you don't believe in it, just for the respect from your community. Respect at this time, and everything's gonna work itself out.
That's it. Well, man, thanks for your time. Crazy times.
Anytime, brother.
Crazy
Anytime,
times.
the honor.
Yeah, and honor's mine. I love you. I love your family. I love what you guys are all about.
Brother. We love you too, man.
And really look forward to going out to Chicago and hanging out with you and doing some jiu-jitsu and hopefully some tac fits and look forward to having you out here. And
I can't wait, man.
Yeah. And let's be in touch.
Can't wait. Yeah, and again, all your students, whenever they're in Chicago, this is their home. And I look forward to seeing you, everyone. And this will pass. And I think when it does pass, we're probably going to miss it. We're going to probably miss all this little downtime that we had to kind of work on things that we neglected. So, again, take advantage of it. Thank God for these lungs, for the breath, for life and for hope.
Yeah.
Hope is going to help us at this time, and everything's going to be okay.
That's it. That's it. That's it. All right, brother. Let's be in touch, and let me know if you need anything from me, and I can do for you
Likewise,
guys.
brother.
And
Likewise.
we'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Thank
All right,
you.
brother. Take care. Thank you.